This is Six of the Universe. Welcome back. I got my Tyrese Maxey video out there. What I was mentioning before when it got cut off, I had no idea that the last clip was going to be one of my shorter ones. But what I was mentioning is that he's in triple threat position. So it's like when you catch the ball, normally that's mid-high post, but he's catching the ball and he's catching it with his shoulder at the perimeter. And basically, you can bring the ball forward and you can either shoot it or you could dribble drive to the rim or you could dribble drive and make a pass. That's why we call it triple threat. 3 options: shoot, dribble, pass. And triple threat, only some of the best players in the league have a triple threat really. Carmelo Anthony paid in that and made that his career. It's really mellow. I guess Tracy McGrady, but it's just a very rare thing to be able to have the ball in the mid-high post and have a post game, a jump shot, and the ability to attack a pass. So if Maxey developing a triple post threat, look out league, because he's already quick as hell. So this video is going to be about the state of the Sixers. This is an annual state of the Sixers type of video. And we're going to be discussing, everything. The off-season, what I thought about it, the Ben saga, what's the latest, what are we going to do? So, alright, with this off-season, if I were to sum it up in one word, it would be disappointing. It is disappointing because, now I read an article by one of our beat writers, Kyle Neubeck. Kyle Neubeck, a Philly voice. He was also a Liberty Ballers for a time, Kyle Neubeck. So I read an article that he made, and the article was basically about how the Sixers brass viewed the Ben Simmons situation. And I had my suspicions about a couple of things, some of which were confirmed, others of which that article didn't get into. But very basically, the article, on 2 camps. One camp was thinking, okay, let's do this. And then there was the other camp that's like, we want to get a piece and move us into contention. And it's that group that had been prevalent up until now. And it's that group that I kind of want to talk to for a minute and say, Ben Simmons did not elevate you into contendership. That was Jerome Embiid. What Ben Simmons did was he hopped along the gravy train. Essentially, that's what he did. Make no mistake about it. The fact that the Sixers are career 500 without Ben Simmons, that says everything. You could still win basketball games. The only reason you hadn't really been elite post-Ben is that up until you drafted Tyrese Maxey, you did not have a point guard. We saw that Shake Milton has struggled as a point guard, probably more of a wingman. You weren't going to seriously play TJ McConnell. So in part because you gave him this bad contract, you had no point guard options. Even though Ben wasn't really a great point guard option himself, but you had no choice. And that's why whenever Ben sat down, what were you going to do? Obviously a similar thing with Jerome Embiid, but it's a different scenario in that, no shit, there's no replacement for Joel. But in my view, there were a handful of players that you could get that replaced Ben Simmons, and that was especially so once you drafted Tyrese Maxey, and he's the player that he's looking like he's going to become. So, the train of thought by some of the Sixers brass that, oh my god, we really need a great return, we're going to lose game, we're not going to be in contention anymore. Stop it, you were a career 500 without him, and you're a career 420 basketball team without Jerome Embiid. Between the two guys, which one is more and less replaceable? Ben Simmons is easily the more replaceable guy. Don't sweat it. Even if you're not going to get superstar, even if you're not going to get A-plus player, as far as contending for a championship, the sky has not fallen just because you traded 2-5. Okay? I just want that part of the past that thinks like that, to understand that. If Ben Simmons were what you thought of him, you would have won more games. That's the bottom line. If Ben Simmons were anything of what people thought of him, next LeBron, next Magic, transcendent, if he were any of that, you would have won more games. You would have won Game 7 against Toronto. You definitely would have won Game 7 against Atlanta, where you only scored 96 points. I mean, the evidence is on the wall for who Ben Simmons is and what his talent level actually is. You know, there's only so long you can fantasize about a jump shot away from 2.0. You know, Stephen A. Smith popularized that. There's only so many years you can fantasize about that before the honest truth of his 5-year career, he's Lamar Odom. Get over it. You know? So, that's the point. Ben Simmons is tradable. Ben Simmons is replaceable. The Sixers will still be a contender. You know, I agree with DJ Eastwood, shout out Running Back Nation, in the live stream a couple of days ago. I completely agree with him. You know, without that non-shooting point guard on the floor in the dunker spot, it's not even a dunker spot for Ben Simmons. It's a dunker spot for DeAndre Jordan. It's a dunker spot for Blake Griffin. It's a dunker spot hell for Rashawn Holmes or B-Ball Paul. For Ben, he just stands there. He wastes the dunker spot. For him, we'll call it the high spot, because that's what it is. It's the high spot. You get that the hell out of here, I think you're going to get much better offense, and I think it's going to offset the defensive player, you know, second place defensive player of the year. So really, overall, like I said, one guy's replaceable, and that's 2-5. And especially with this attitude, it's one thing if you don't want to come back, okay, but you come to camp, you work this out. But instead, he did what he always does. He did what he's always done his 5-year career. He's been a pussy. And that's what he's doing now. He's a pussy. And so, all right then. If that's the way you want your career to go, by all means. You know? So speaking of that, there was a report by America Hoops where America Hoops comes out that the Sixers are still actively looking for a trade despite the denials. And you know, that's kind of obvious to me. I know that there's been this debate among Sixer Nation, you know, RB's like, let's punish this guy, let's sit him, and a lot of other fans agree. I don't hold that position. My position has been, and this has been my position since the draft, and why I was pissed at the draft, whether it's 2 months from now, 4 months from now, 6 months from now, 8 months from now, Washington is not and should not trade Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons. If we think lowly of Ben in Philadelphia for the valid reasons that we do, why the fuck will Washington trade Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons? They wouldn't. I wouldn't if I were with the GM. I'm just saying. Trade a prolific three-point shooter and one of the best off-ball screen guards in the history of the NBA, even better than Mitchell Hamilton was in his time in Detroit. Trade that guy for the guy who, quote-unquote, does everything well except be an actual offensive threat on the basketball court, which is 90% of the game, I'm sorry. And even with the do everything well, you're a slightly above average rebounder for a power forward. And I ain't gonna call you a point guard, you're a power forward. Slightly average rebounding forward at 7 rebounds a game. You're 15 points, pedestrian. So it's really your 7 assists in your defense. Nice. No, I would not trade that for Bradley Beal. Wizard fans would be incredibly upset if you traded Bradley Beal for that. And the same thing is for Portland and Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is on a higher plane than Bradley Beal. Damian Lillard is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Damian Lillard is one of the greatest scoring guards of our generation. He is this generation's Allen Iverson, to be honest. So you're Portland, and you have this Hall of Fame player in Damian Lillard. Even if you wanted to rebuild, why would you take Ben Simmons and all of his warts at 4 years remaining, $176 million for a guy who has shown the world that he has zero desire to improve, zero desire to change the situation? No desire to improve, no desire to change, but he will be paid $40 million at the end of his contract. Why would you do that if you were Portland? If you were Portland, you have no reason to do that. Portland doesn't have a reason. And that's my point to Daryl Morey. I know you want the superstar. I know you want this. And to an even larger part, as much as Daryl Morey wants it, there's someone who wants it even more. Joshua Harris, David Blisher, and the Sixer ownership group. Think about it from their perspective. I'm going to take you deep into the woods of why the Sixers are holding the stance they had. I mean, the logical thing to do, if you had no external pressure and you just wanted to do what you need to do, which is to go ahead and build a new core for Joel Embiid, you would have executed this in the draft. Daryl Morey's no idiot. You know, we've heard the outlandish requests and all that stuff. And you have to think, this is coming from upstairs. Daryl Morey is not a fool. And literally, one point of evidence of that is in the press conference after the draft. He let it out. He's like, we had 3 stars, quote unquote. Now, I'm not sure if I would. Who knows who would talk about the second star? Was he talking Tobias Harris? Nah. But if you were talking Tyrese Maxey, I'm with him on that Tyrese Maxey hype. But the fact that Daryl Morey let that out there, Daryl Morey knows that Ben is not a star. He knows that damn well. So, why would Daryl Morey prolong this wait, knowing that you're not going to get a first ballot Hall of Fame in Lillard, you're not going to get an All-NBA player in Bradley Beal. You know, the player that you're trading for does not equal on his own, or maybe even with picks and young players. It is wholly possible, even if you went Ben, Maxey, 4 first-round picks, even then, Portland may look at that $40 million at the end of the deal and be like, hell no. Like, what's the point of a young player if I got this contract taking up more than 35% of the cap? Why would I do that if I'm Portland? Seriously, Ben Simmons' contract is worth more than his production. And you don't normally get superstars for a contract that bad. I mean, there are bad contracts, but holy shit. You know, like, that contract is neck and neck with the Al Horford contract we got rid of last summer. Like, it's just, that contract aged so badly. To be frank, it aged badly the moment it's signed. You know, it's kind of ironic. You know, Derek Bartner, formerly of Draft Express and of The Athletic presently, I remember a tweet of his that I read a couple years ago, and it basically was like, you know, the reason you signed this contract extension now is that, well, even in the future, it's tradable. And it's like, yeah, but that's only if he's actually worth it. Now, it's just another bad contract. Now, it's not attractive to Portland, it's not attractive to Washington, it's not attractive, not even attractive. Oh my God, the funniest thing ever happened, the other day, where Mr. Lacob, the Warriors owner, got fined. He wasn't even tampering. He said, we don't want this guy because he cost too much and we don't know if he could close in the fourth quarter. I have never seen tampering that this is the player, but that's just me. Like, come on, Adam Silver, are you serious? I will pay Mr. Lacob's fine. No, I don't have $50,000, but holy shit, it's absurd. And it's sad because this is how disrespected Ben is. Now you got owners of other NBA teams willingly, openly saying that you're trash. Dude, what's it going to take for you? You're not a Sixer anymore, but what is it going to take for you to get it and just go out and improve? Work hard at your game. What's it going to take? Man. It's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. The Ben saga, and I don't mean the trade chatter, I mean his career in the NBA. It's just, come on, man. Come on. Yeah, I'm a 5'11" Discord guy. But I know that if I was 6'10" B-ball guy, if I were you, I would have worked my ass off. You need me to shoot or practice 80,000 jumpers a day, or be in that gym, or work hard. Even if it's never great, if it's just good enough for where you can use it, that's going to make me a more complete player. I don't know. And especially if I wanted to keep getting Paymax dollars, I would at least look the part that I cared about improving. It's just weird. It's just very, very, very weird. So anyway, getting back to what I was really saying, is that Amico Hoops was reporting that Sixers are still looking, like I said, and in fact, it's ratcheting up to the point where Amico reported that there's a possibility that the Sixers could execute this trade within a week, i.e. before training camp, which, thank God. I'll be honest with you. Here's the second reason why I don't subscribe to the whole cinema. I don't want him to be a distraction. I don't want him to be a distraction to Doc Rivers, who, again, I still support, and he's my head coach. I don't want him to be a distraction to Doc. This is going to be a young team, and T. Sparbo's going to be clamoring for minutes. Tyrese Maxey's going to be clamoring for minutes. I don't want those guys. Jaden Springer, this is his first year, even though I don't think much of him. I don't want them to get the distraction. I don't want Joel Embiid to be distracted. I don't want this organization to be distracted by someone who I don't feel is worth the distraction. James Harden is worth the distraction. Anthony Davis is worth the distraction. Benjamin David Simmons is not worth the distraction to this basketball team. As a matter of fact, in my personal opinion, Ben Simmons will go down as one of the greatest number one overall pick busts of all time. Sure, yes, Kwame Brown and Michael Oladipo didn't accomplish much on the floor. Yeah, Ben Simmons, 15-7, though mediocre as it obviously is, was good enough in the mid-season for coaches to go and give him a bunch of all-star appearances. Even though I truly do feel that last year's all-star appearance will be the final all-star appearance of his career. You know, if he doesn't give a damn, this is it. I feel like that will be the only All-NBA team that he will ever make. I don't give a shit that he won Rookie of the Year 4 years ago. That really doesn't mean shit anymore. So when you look at what he's actually really done in terms of, okay, what impact have you had on the Sixers franchise? Because obviously a free second round exit, it is a complete waste of time. It's a complete disappointment. Now there are those who are like, oh, well, the Sixers got swept last year without Ben Simmons, and it's like, that series was awful. Even to his last coaching breath, Brett Brown refused to go 4 out, 1 in. And it's like, you finally had the opportunity now that Ben's injured to build a team around Joel, and you still refuse. Like, to this day, well, not to this day because he's gone, but it's like, my God, I have never seen someone stick so much to something that was proven wrong time and time and time again, like BB ever did. But not only that, but Horford and Tobias were nowhere to be found. You know, Shake Milton struggled in the playoffs. Like, there really wasn't anybody on that team. There was no Seth Curry. There was no Danny Green. That team last year was the worst constructed team of the process. Seriously. That team was the worst constructed team in the process. To a point where I don't even know if another non-shooter, even a guy like Ben Simmons, would have changed the fact that you get swept in that series. I mean, that's serious. That was the worst constructed roster in the Joel Embiid era. I don't think you win a game even fully healthy. And I'm not going to buy. That's the reality. But the interesting thing was that Amico reported that the possibility exists that the Denver Nuggets are a sleeper team. And it makes a lot of sense. Nikola Jokic can't defend shit, okay? He may be the greatest offensive center or, neck and neck with Embiid. Depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for Jokic's passing, he's becoming an elite 3-point shooting big man, then you go there. But if you look at Embiid's free throw dominance, ability to get people foul trouble, then you go there. So anyway, Nikola Jokic is probably one of the few, if not the only type of big man Ben Simmons could play with. And on the other hand, for Nikola Jokic, you need a defensive player like Ben Simmons. And if you compare Ben Simmons and Jamal Murray in the backcourt, Jamal Murray could play a little bit off ball. I could see why the Denver Nuggets see that really, working out. Murray, Jokic, and Simmons. I think that would be really great. Finally, there's one last thing that I want to touch on, and that is our very new play-by-play, Miss Kate Scott. To be real simple, when the news first broke, for a lot of people were like, whoa, because we had heard nothing for months, and I mean months. And then all of a sudden, basically a week before training camp, and was basically 9 days now before the preseason game against the Raptors on the 4th of October. And now this news breaks, and for me personally, I am all for meritocracy, talent and ability over anything else. I don't like the first concept. I really don't. Every time I hear it, every time I see it, the whole trailblazer thing, to me it makes no sense. I don't even want it for myself. I have CP, some people would say, I'm special, etc. So if I get a job, or when I go places, etc., I don't want anyone to say that he is the first disabled. God, no. Spare me that. Just spare me that. I don't like it. I don't like the concept. I don't want it to apply to me. I want it to apply to anybody else. I think of it as disrespectful. If you're talented, if you're good enough, if you are hired for a job, it should be on the merits. And honestly, you yourself as a person, you should be looking to advance your own career rather than trailblaze the path and your first. I just find it ridiculous. I personally find it ridiculous. Hey, good for them if they're happy with it. I mean, free country, free choice. But I just find the whole concept and idea ridiculous. Ridiculous as in childish, because the whole first concept, you want to know where that came from? YouTube. Way back in 2006, 2007, it came out on YouTube. And everyone was like, oh, I'm the first to get this video, I'm the first for this. And it used to be that everyone would downvote those first comments. Now we're bringing first to real life and people are applauding. Oh, you're first. I don't get it. How do we like in real life what we notoriously hated online? I'll never understand. The behavior of the internet is way different than the behavior of real life, obviously. But congratulations to Miss Scott. I hope she does great. I'm gonna keep my ears and my eyes open. I'm gonna be receptive. I want her to do a hell of a job here. I just want her to do the job because she loves it and not another pit stop on the trailblazing career path. I just think those are totally different things. I can respect the person who loves what they do, and I can respectfully disagree with the idea that trailblazing is a thing. I don't think it is. I actually think it's counterproductive to the whole feminist movement because the feminists are like, we want to be equal, we want to be treated equally. But at the same time, we want the special awards that can only be attributed to us and our movement. And it's like, make up your mind. Do you want to be treated special or do you want to be treated equal? Because I know this. If we're treating things equal, as a man, I wouldn't want anyone to fawn over me. That I'm the first to do this. The only person I ever want to hear is that I got first place or something. Not, ooh, you're the first of this. Winning a competition of any sort had more relevance than, oh my God, no one hire anyone who's like you until you. It just doesn't make sense. So this is 60 Universe. Has everything. The front office, the Ben scenario, my thoughts on the off season, and to Miss Scott's success. I have a hard time with names. No disrespect in the Miss Kate. So, yeah. Good night, 60 Universe.